You are Locked On Nuggets Postcast, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes. It is your Locked On Nuggets Postcast. What is going on, Nuggets Nation? I'm your host, Anilo Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. In the Denver Nuggets, there is only one game remaining in the regular season, as that will come to conclusion by the time we get to Monday morning. But for tonight, on Friday, the Denver Nuggets come from behind to take care of business to win their second game in a row, defeating the Memphis Grizzlies. Your final score here this evening, 117-109. David Adelman is now 2-0 in his official interim head coaching era. I mean, he filled in for Malone. There was that one game where Malone was watching his daughter in the state championships for volleyball, and then obviously with the passing of his father, I believe David Adelman was in there for a game or two as well. But in the official quote-unquote David Adelman era, the post-Michael Malone era, David Adelman is now 2-0, so congratulations to him. And the Nuggets look like they're a little bit better. And I'm not ready to go crazy. We'll have to see what happens with the seeding, but and we'll kind of get to this throughout the course of the program. Not that I lack confidence in Denver. It's such a mixed bag. And take a look at this game here tonight. You see the resiliency. You see them able to come from behind. Another triple-double for Nikola Jokic. It's like a walk in the park for this guy at this point in time. It's just absolutely ludicrous how good he is at basketball. And I got some thoughts on that I'll share with you later on in the program. But, if the seeding shakes out the right way in favor of the Denver Nuggets, which means dodging the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round and hopefully not having to play the Thunder or potentially the Lakers. And I know there's some Nuggets fans that aren't very scared of the Lakers. I just think Luka takes it up to another notch with this Lakers team. It's not the LeBron and Anthony Davis Lakers that Denver has been able to own in recent memory. It's a new look team. But, the big thing, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. If they can avoid Minnesota in round one of the NBA playoffs, I mean, who's to say that this team can't go on a run? A lot needs to happen before we get there. Even if they do play, a Clippers or, a Memphis type team in the first round. I mean, that's not a guarantee either, but tonight you've got to be happy with the result. It was fan appreciation night at Ball Arena. The atmosphere is certainly a little different. It's interesting to hear David Adelman be introduced as Nuggets head coach and not Michael Malone. A mainstay in the organization was Malone, the winningest coach in franchise history, a guy that, developed Nikola Jokic into the player that he is today, nurtured Jamal Murray throughout the course of the injuries, brought along Michael Porter Jr., was patient with him, helped weave Aaron Gordon into the fold a little bit as well. And so it's definitely a different vibe around this Denver Nuggets team. And look, there's been plenty of information, plenty of sources, plenty of articles, plenty of stories that have come out in the last 48 to 72 hours kind of detailing what went down that ultimately led to the firing of Michael Malone. But I think the biggest thing is a culture change. Michael Malone had lost the locker room. And I know Russell Westbrook, was out there tonight, but David Adelman had an interesting quote before the game talking about how, we're going to play the players that are playing well. And, obviously that's a cliche to a certain extent. You kind of expect that, right? But, Michael Malone was loyal to a fault when it came to the handling of Russell Westbrook. And, one of the dynamics that we've seen come out in The Athletic, I believe it was, or maybe it was ESPN. I mean, I've read and consumed and talked to people so much about this topic that it kind of all blurs together for me right now. But the Cold War is what it's being called between Michael Malone and Calvin Booth, right? And there was this notion that was thrown out in one of the stories that I was reading that, maybe Malone purposely wasn't playing for, playing some of the young guys because those were Booth's guys and Malone wanted to play his guys, right? And overall, it just seems like the more and more that you peel back the layers of this Denver Nuggets team, I mean, it's been a toxic year. And while you don't necessarily pick up on that on the surface, especially because they've had, a good record, it's not like they're losing a gazillion games in a row. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to have a chance in the Western Conference. The vibe was certainly off, as somebody who's been in that building, covering this team up close and personal for 8-9 years now. I mean, Jokic's rookie season, it was definitely a noticeable difference in the vibe this year so far. And really just, it feels like a team that's lacked some energy and lacks some passion. And maybe they're going to be able to get that back now with the firing of Michael Malone and the departure of Calvin Booth here as well. But taking a look at the stats here tonight, man, Let's play the little liner, because one player in particular, Nikola Jokic, could always be our player of the game, but one player in particular stuck out to us tonight.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Come on down, Aaron Gordon. What a game tonight for AG. He did his thing. 33 points tonight for Aaron Gordon. A steal, a block, 5 rebounds as well, 2 of 7 from 3, 13 of 23 from the field. And once again, Jokic did take 19 shots, but when it's, not Nikola Jokic having to will his team to victory, when he's getting 33 points from a guy like Aaron Gordon, you got to love it. You just got to love it. So shout out to AG here tonight. As I mentioned, Nikola Jokic, another triple-double. I believe this is 34th now of the season. I mean, the guy's just absolutely unreal. 26 points, 16 rebounds, 13 assists. And it's not even like it's 26, 10, and 10. I mean, he's deep into the rebounds above 10. 16 rebounds, 13 assists, 2 steals. 12 steals would be insane. A plus 11 in the box, plus minus. 11 of 19 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3. I was thinking about this as I was getting ready to do the show. I've become desensitized to Nikola Jokic. Like, I'm not even surprised when he gets a triple-double. And like sometimes when you sit back and you look at the stats and you look at the metrics and you watch the games and you're like it's almost like a pinch me type of moment. And I'm sure there's some Nuggets fans out there that feel the same way, where it's like you're a little desensitized to it because it's not even that you come to expect it. It's just not even surprising anymore, which is crazy to say because a triple-double is such a difficult feat to accomplish in the NBA, in basketball in general. And Nikola Jokic makes it look easy. He makes the game of basketball look easy. And I posted this on the Denver 104.3 The Fan Instagram page earlier today. And this is not an old notion, and maybe this is more so a conversation for another day, but I think it also just amplifies the greatness of Nikola Jokic. So Jokic has gone the first 824 games of his career, including the playoffs, without having a teammate who was an all-star, all-NBA, or all-defensive player that season. So Russell Westbrook's been an all-star, but not this year, right? And it's not just all-star. It's all-star, all-NBA, or all-defensive team. Of the 5,000 players in NBA history, Nikola Jokic is the only one to go his first 700-plus games without such a teammate. So let's put that in perspective. The first player in NBA history to go 700-plus games without that. He's at 824. Let that sink in for just a little bit. I mean, the guy is an absolute marvel. So, wow. We'll see, man. When you have the best player in the world, anything's possible. So we'll see what happens when it comes playoff time. Elsewhere, Christian Braun had 12 points tonight, 5 assists, a couple of rebounds for CB, including a steal too. And Jamal Murray, we'll talk about him when we come up here after the break as well, made his return to the lineup after what feels like he's been out for longer than he has been. And I think that's just because of the Malone stuff. And, we haven't been thinking about Murray maybe nearly as much. But he made his return to the lineup tonight. 15 points, 1 of 4 from 3, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Okay, so a fine game from Jamal Murray as he continues to work his way back from injury. But hopefully this is a sign of things to come in regards to him, managing to be in the lineup on a consistent basis. And then the one guy, man, AG 33, Jokic triple-double, Jamal's back in the lineup. Where is Michael Porter Jr.? Where is Michael Porter Jr.? 30 minutes tonight for MPJ, only 7 points. Now he did, and he's been doing this throughout the course of the season. What he lacks for in scoring, he makes up in the rebounding department. He did grab 12 rebounds this evening. No assists, though. And, I said it on the Fan Thursday night. I mean, Denver, again, assuming Murray's healthy-ish, assuming Jokic is Jokic, right? I mean, even if both of those things are true, Denver doesn't stand a chance in this NBA postseason to make a deep run without Michael Porter Jr. That's where we're at right now. So it is what it is. Peyton Watson with 8, DeAndre Jordan with 2, Russell Westbrook with 14. He played 27 minutes tonight, so a little bit of an increase, 10 more minutes than he played in the previous game. 4 assists, 3 rebounds as well to pair with those 14 points from Russell Westbrook, and Jalen Pickett with only 10 minutes tonight. So Jamal Murray back in the lineup shows you how David Adelman tries to go about this rotation. So let's hit our first and only break here tonight. When we come back, we'll continue along the conversation, talk some big picture stuff with this Denver Nuggets team, take a look at some of the stats and the overall flow of this game from Memphis's perspective, and get ready for the final game of the regular season. And we'll do that when we come back right here on your Locked On Nuggets Postcast. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the 24-25 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Here are a few ways that you can take advantage of this deal. After an epic 50-point performance, celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. Need a quick and easy lunch the next day? With Dash Pass, you get your favorite meals with $0 delivery fees and reduced service fees. Plus, now you save even more with this exclusive NBA offer. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms they do apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. DoorDash, man, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. And real quick, let me also tell you about our friends, if I can find it. There we go. Our friends over at Gametime. There's nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it's catching a last-minute MLB showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA matchup. But finding great seats at a great price, that used to be a challenge until I found Gametime. Gametime makes scoring last-minute tickets easier than ever. Prices actually drop as the game and the event gets closer. And with their all-in pricing, you see the total cost up front, no surprises at checkouts. Here's why I love using Gametime. Their last-minute deals, folks. Save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. You can grab last-minute seats for Nuggets games and save big with their zone deals as well. Plus, you get peace of mind with their seat views before you buy, no surprise fees, and a lowest price guarantee. You can book your tickets with confidence. Their lowest price guarantee means that I never have to worry about overpaying. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms they do apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Be sure to check out our friends over at Gametime and let them know that Locked On Nuggets sent you. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Nilo Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And the Denver Nuggets win their second game in a row, taking down the Memphis Grizzlies tonight, 117-109. It started out ugly for Denver in this one. Memphis came out fast and furious, outscoring the Nuggets 35-28 there in the first quarter. Denver, is able to get a 1-point advantage there in the second, and then from there, it all kind of comes together for Denver. They outscore Memphis 25-24 in the second quarter, and then they really put on the gas offensively coming out of halftime in the third quarter. 39-36, they outscore Memphis, but again, you don't want to be giving up 36 points consistently in quarters, especially when you gave up 35 in the first. But then Denver in the fourth quarter, when it mattered most, a big game that is really important to the overall seeding of this postseason, they outscore the Memphis Grizzlies. They clamp down on defense, 25-14. And that's how you get to your 117-109 final score. Looking at some of the stats here for Memphis, Jaren Jackson Jr. with 18. John Morant did his thing with 21. Didn't shoot all that well from three. And Desmond Bane was a leader with 24 points tonight for the Memphis Grizzlies. But across the board here tonight, man, look, it looked a little bit like a Michael Malone game, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I don't think David Adelman is having this tremendous overall impact right now. I think the change was obviously necessary from Josh Kroenke's perspective. But if anything, it's hopefully providing this Nuggets team with a little bit of a reset as they get ready to go into the NBA playoffs. And I mean, looking at some of the other numbers here tonight, Denver shot below 50% from the field. They were 48.4%. And it's surprising because this has been a common trend throughout the course of the season. We know that Denver doesn't take a high volume of three-point shots. And I mean, Memphis essentially doubled up Denver tonight in the 3-point shot attempts. 14 for 43 was Memphis. Not great. I mean, that's 32.6%. But Denver was even worse by only taking 24 attempts, only making 5. Think about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count them on one hand. That's good for 20.8% 3-point percentage tonight for the Denver Nuggets. So, they were able to get buckets when they needed to. Jokic doing his thing, having 33 points from Aaron Gordon certainly helps, in and around the basket as well. Denver did a good job of winning the rebounding battle, which is, always interesting, especially with Triple J out there for Memphis. They won that one 52-41. And Denver trailed by as many as 15 points in this game. So a nice little come-from-behind victory for Denver. A little bit of wherewithal, a little bit of resiliency there across the board. And another area where Denver was able to just dominate. I gave you the rebounds a second ago. They absolutely cleaned up in the points in the paint here tonight, 72 for 52. So a 20-point swing in favor of Denver. And another metric that you usually see pop up when Denver's playing well and winning is the fast break points. And they outscored Memphis this evening 23-13 in the fast break points. So when it's all said and done, a win is a win, 117-109, and we now have only a single game remaining in the NBA playoffs. And I think one of the bigger things to take away from the game here tonight is where they, have the potential to end up in the seeding with the win here. They need to get a win or a Clippers win, and they're going to be able to, be in decent position. But if they get a win and the Clippers also win their final game, they're going to avoid the Wolves. So you need to be a Clipper fan on Sunday. And, of course, you need to be a Denver Nugget fan on Sunday as well when they take on the Houston Rockets in the final regular season game. So we'll see. I am so curious as to how this postseason is going to go for the Denver Nuggets because – Josh Kroenke came out and said it. There's some rumors going out there that they were going to fire Malone before the All-Star break. That was a real conversation. That was a real dynamic that was being thrown out there. And, they went on that, 8 or 9 game heater. And it was, this recent 4-game losing streak, again, part of the reason why you want to dodge the Wolves, not just because they've beat them in 6 straight games now, is that most recent game at Ball Arena where Jokic had the 60-point triple-double. That was the game that broke the Denver Nuggets. That was the game that was the nail in the coffin for Michael Malone. And I know that he, survived, 3 more games after that, I think? 2 more games? But that was the sign that this team spiritually, emotionally, was broken. So we'll see if this firing of Michael Malone and the promotion of David Adelman to the interim head coach can provide Denver with any juice. But nonetheless, Memphis is a solid team, so a good win all in all tonight for the Denver Nuggets as they win this one 117-109. We shall see. Sunday is going to be interesting, folks. Final day of the Masters. Got that on one TV, got the Nuggets on the other. And we'll see. I mean, Denver, Minnesota round 1 is a very realistic possibility. And obviously, if you're a Nugget fan, you don't want that, but it'd be a heck of a matchup. I mean, from an optimist point of view, they're due, right? At some point, it's got to give in. Anthony Edwards has got his 18th technical foul tonight, and he's suspended for the final game of the year. So, obviously, I don't want to see Minnesota, but if Denver does end up drawing Minnesota round 1, we're going to find out a lot. We know what Nikola Jokic is, but we're going to find out a lot about Jamal Murray, and we're going to find a lot about Michael Porter Jr. So I'll leave you with that. That is going to do it for me tonight, folks. Really, really appreciate y'all tapping in. As always, you can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button on your way out the door as the Denver Nuggets get the job done here tonight, 117-109. Enjoy your weekend, folks. We'll talk to you guys on Sunday afternoon. Put a bow on the regular season and get ready for playoff basketball. Have a good one, folks.